it took the attorneys agreeing on the intensive and even agreeing on the no contact time. You know how rare that happens? You always have to go to court for that, right? And it's a really big step to get that ordered. So the fact that we got that on agreement and then we just scheduled all these review hearings and the judge just held to it every step of the way, trusted what the feedback the professionals were giving, held the favored parent to every piece of the court order. There was no wiggle room, I think all of those things happen. Sometimes in a case, every one of those things that you said. The lawyers are not looking at the case really from the best interest of the child. They just want to be an advocate. Sometimes the judges don't understand what they're dealing with. Sometimes one of the hardest things is if you're in a county where the judges rotate. So if you don't have the same judge and you're going back in for your 60-day review hearing, let's say you had one judge, I've had a case like this, you have one judge who heard the case for 6 months and made the changes that they needed to make, increased the rejected parents' time and got the right kind of therapy going for the family. And then the kids were doing better. And the judge changed. We went in for a 90-day hearing, and the judge didn't like anything that had happened, fired the whole therapeutic team, replaced everybody with new people. It was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. That family had spent so much money on therapy, on the guardian, on multiple court hearings, and then one judge just came in who had never been in family law, had done a completely different kind of law, but was a family court judge, didn't know what it was they were hearing, and changed everything. And the kids, within a month, were absolutely rejecting again and refused to go. Yeah, it was very, very sad. Heartbreaking. Say that is one of the hardest things that I deal with is telling somebody no or knowing that when I'm at my limit of when I can even help in the case, right? If a judge removes me, right? I've got this family that is just devastated because they don't know the new guardian coming in. And I feel like I've completely let them down, even though it wasn't my choice. I have some sort of personal feeling about that. But yes, there's a part of it for me that I just have to say there's only so much that I can do, and sometimes the path I don't have complete control over. And so, but also I think my efforts in training is to address that, right? Because there's not enough people who really understand what they're working with. And I think the majority of practitioners out there want to do good in the world. That's why they go to school, learn to be a therapist, or even try to be a guardian ad litem. It's because they care about the best interest of the child, but you don't know what you don't know. And so the problem is that with these families, you can cause a lot of harm if you're trying to work with them and you don't understand what it is you're seeing. And so yeah, I would say my development of a training institute is part of my effort to help in that way, to add more practitioners and that have the knowledge into the field.